All right, welcome back. Yeah, we're back. Few reruns were in there. We had to regroup for year 2 of Wise Guys, and we got so much action coming your way, like we always do. But this week, it is a fire-breathing dragon of a show, because we're talking about what's on everyone's mind. We got so much political persecution going on in this country. We got the president going before the nation with 2 Marines standing behind him and telling us that people like us are domestic terrorists. From soccer moms at school board meetings, to men in red hats, to the governor of Florida, to the president of the United States, we're hunted by the FBI for what? Our political beliefs. We break it all down tonight with a great crew. As usual, I'm joined by my co-host, Cara Castronuova. She's the muscle and the brains of the operation, 2 times Golden Glove champion, and also the founder of Citizens Against Political Persecution. Lou Gelomino, America's lawyer, is off this week, but in his stead, one of the greatest and my favorite lieutenant governors of all time, Betsy McCaughey, joins us. Thank you so much.
So glad to be here.
I'm outnumbered today, and I'm outbeautied by far, if I could say that. But, you know, Lieutenant Governor, every week Cara and I go out and hit the streets, and we do something that Newsmax allows us to, and I love it. We talk to regular folks and get their opinions, and then we break it down. So I want you to take a look. We went out to fight night at the stadium, NYPD versus FDNY, and Cara was in her element because she's a nose breaker. But let's take a look at what some of the people had to say out at the fights, and I want to get your thoughts, and we'll break it down a little bit.
What are your feelings about Joe Biden saying that all MAGA supporters are a threat to democracy?
I think that Joe Biden should give it up. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry to say that I'm a very big conservative. I'm a Trump lover. Yeah. And he's divided the whole country.
That is for sure. He and the progressive agenda, I hesitate to use the word progressive because that has a positive connotation. I will say the left-wingers who are supporting Joe Biden, it's really coming down to people who work and pay taxes versus the freeloaders and the lawbreakers.
So you dig down into political persecution like no one else, right. And it's not just soccer moms at school board meetings, it's regular moms and dads who went down to support their president. Right. What do you think?
Well, as you know, there's many men and women who are still in solitary confinement for January 6th. A lot of them haven't even had bail bond hearings. They're still awaiting trials in 2023. Most of them just for trespassing and disorderly conduct, and many trumped up charges. So these people are being held, and there's actually a big trial next week that not a lot of people are talking about, the Oath Keepers trial, alongside the January 6th committee at the same time, which is crazy. So they're just really violating the due process and persecuting these Trump supporters, I think, to set an example, to terrify the rest of us. This is what happens if you disagree with President Biden.
But meanwhile, 8,500 people a day, over 2 million this year, are flooding across the southern border, violating every law in the book, right? And what are they getting? Joe Biden is handing them not electronic bracelets, instead cell phones. He's putting them in hotels. He's flying them to their chosen destinations, right? This is concierge law breaking.
Yeah, imagine,
that's what it is.
Imagine coming over the border illegally, right? So they're here illegally and say, well, by the way, here's a whole gift bag for you.
Yeah, the welcome bags.
Where would you like to go?
Yes.
Do you want to go to Florida? Would you like to go to Martha's Vineyard? Would you like to go to the Big Apple? Your choice.
That's right.
I'm actually thinking about going to Mexico and then breaking into the country and seeing if I can get one of these gift bags.
Well, if you come to Connecticut and you're an illegal or undocumented, as some people like to call them, if you come to Connecticut and then you give birth to a baby, that baby is now going to get baby bonds.
Wow.
$3,800 in an account established by the state that will grow because of interest to be worth about $11,000 by the time this child is 18 years old, right? Now, the rest of us work and save, pay taxes, obey the law, and we try to create a nest egg for our kids. We try to build a college fund for them. But these people who are breaking the law, they're getting it free of charge.
Right.
So now, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, I heard my buddy, Democratic New York State Governor David Patterson say this is one of the best political moves he's ever seen. You know David, he's a moderate, fair guy. But it really brought attention to the fact that all these progressives and liberals support these policies at the border, but when it pops up in their backyard,
NIMBY.
Right, they call it NIMBY, not in my backyard.
Right, that's right.
But other people have also done this in the past.
Right.
These Democrat mayors.
Bill de Blasio, for one, only in very recent history was shipping a lot of homeless American citizens that are homeless to different states and putting them up there without the consent of the governors of those states. So if they want to say that Ron DeSantis is human trafficking, then they have to point to Bill de Blasio and other people that have done that in the past.
But here's again where the working people who pay the taxes and obey the law are getting, could I say, shafted?
Yeah,
really?
This show we can say whatever we want. You can say illegal aliens.
These Venezuelan migrants who were brought to Martha's Vineyard have now decided to file a class action lawsuit against Ron DeSantis. Now, who's going to pay their legal bills? We, the taxpayers. Can you imagine this?
Right.
Yeah, and
They broke every law to get in here, but now they're claiming that their rights were violated by Ron DeSantis.
And you know, this is probably some liberal group that's rounding up the money to sue. You know, these Venezuelan
groups
guys
are funded by
signed a piece of paper
taxpayers.
saying it. But the hypocrisy that I see in it really big is, you know, all these Bernie Sanders socialists and you know, the AOCs of the world, they want us to be like Venezuela. But we're seeing oodles of people flying over the border from Venezuela.
That's right.
So they're coming here to get away from what these people want us to become.
You know, this isn't about ethnicity. This is about values. I see that this nation is now being divided by Joe Biden and the left into the working people and the people who won't work. And we were talking about it earlier. This thing, guaranteed income. Some 80 mayors around the country have now signed up for a program where they're going to hand people in their city $1,000 a month, no strings. You don't have to work. Never mind if you're going to sit on the couch all day, have children you can't afford to support, whatever, you get the money. It makes working people look like suckers.
What was crazy about the article I read that you wrote in the New York Post is that they're actually discriminating against men and even gay men. The only homeless people that could qualify for this money in Denver, Colorado are transgender women and women who are not non-conforming, but men, even if they're homeless, aren't qualified to get this government money.
You know, I am sympathetic. I come from a family where everybody's always worked hard. My family had very little. If somebody's working hard, working 2 jobs and can't make ends meet, let's help them. But that's very different from handing out money to people who are unwilling to do their part.
Right.
No question about it.